Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Lone Wolf Bigger. I'm Brett. Um, Back from my weekend in Chicago, and so I thought I'd show you Wrigley Field the way it used to look. These were marathon posters that were given away at the game back in the 80s. I lost mine years ago, but I found one on eBay, so I bought it again. But as you can see, if you haven't seen too much of what Wrigley Field looked like before, you can see the outfield there. There's no huge scoreboard in the right field, which was obviously over here. And this is actually before the family seats. For those of you who've been Cub fans your whole lives, I know there's several of you. Right here in this section, on the right field side, used to be for special guests. They would have anybody that had family coming in or dignitaries, the Cubs would put them there. Those seats aren't there. And so if you went over here to the left field side, which you can't see anything, there used to be something called family seats where no alcohol was allowed. So that was something that's where I spent a lot of my time from 1981 until 1987 when I moved away. Spent a lot of time there. Then again, on a sunny day like this, if you sat up in those areas where it's shaded, if it was 90 degrees on the field and any wind blowing, you'd freeze your fanny off. So yeah, just thought I'd share a little bit of nostalgia with you. This is probably in the 70s then, because there's McDonald's, there's the donut shop there at the corner here. There's a donut shop. Or wait a minute, no, that's the car wash that used to be there. The donut shop is more over this way. The players used to park right here. And that was cool because you could stand along the fence line here and get autographs. I got Rick Sutcliffe, Steve Trout, Scott Sanderson, those guys back in the day. They were kind of the late arrivals since they weren't pitching that day. But yeah, that was kind of cool. Now they have like a tunnel that goes, I don't know, like right here, that people can't get to them, and who knows where they park now. But this all looks different now. If you watch, you see the grassy area they show once in a while of people playing catch and stuff. That's right in here. So, all right, let's get to the autographs. I need to go away more often because I got a ton to share with you. All right, so the first one, and some of you might say, man, why'd you send so many? Well, I told Mr. Richard that he could have some of these, and he didn't listen. So he returned 5 of 5. So we got the 83 tops, 83 Fleer, and the 84 tops. And both of the 84 tops got smeared there at the end. So I don't know if he signed those last, got irritated. I think one of the 83 Flares has got a smear on it. But, like I said, I told him to keep any that he wanted. I clearly did not think he would spend all 5 back. So a 5 of 5 back from Mike Richard. And it was about, most of these are going to be about 9 or 10 days. I'll indicate which is not, who were not. So the next one I got is Dave Tobick. And I'll be trying to finish that one off, his rookie card in 1979. And then we've got his 1984 Fleer and 1982 Donruss. And you see, these signs kind of small. So that was cool. And then one of my, I don't know, when I was a kid, I just thought this guy's name was so cool. Kiko Garcia. And I got 3 back from him. I actually sent him 4, and he did keep 1, so that was good to see. As you can see, I got the 81 tops, 83 Fleer, and the 84 Fleer. Kiko kind of bounced around. He was a utility player. Mainly shortstop, as you can see by the cards. But, like I said, he played for several years and bounced around a bit. So it was good to get him back. Again, 10 days. The next one I got is Bob Kearney. And I was originally only sending him 3 until I saw the Topps Mariner Leader card somebody had signed online. And I had no clue that was him. So I sent that to him and he signed that along with 87 Fleer, 84 Fleer, and the 87 Topps. That's kind of cool. I may have to start an 87 set. I know a lot of people do them. All right, the next one, we'll switch to football here. And Bill Bates was one of my favorites growing finishing up high school and going into college and stuff. I just loved the intensity of what he played. I always liked watching the defensive side of the ball more than the offense. But growing up being a Bears fan, you know, Doug Buffon and Michael Singletary were during my eras, along with Gary Fensick and Doug Plank. So Fensick and Plank were monsters. I loved watching those guys play. Yeah, a couple back from Bill Bates. We got the 88 Topps. I think this is 89. I don't know. Yeah, it's 89. I don't know the football as well as I do baseball. Baseball, I can look at them and I pretty much know what years they are. And I gotten a group of cards from a friend of mine, and he had these 81 Fleer football cards that I don't think I ever saw living outside of Chicago. They're foreign to me, so it was kind of cool to get those. So Dan Dyken was number 73, and there he is blocking somebody. So he signed the card off to the right there, obviously. That was kind of cool. And then I had to look this up because I did not mark it. I could not remember who it was. Because like so many guys, you just can't read. I should have a contest to see who could figure this one out. So for the Rams, this is signed by Mike Guman, Guman. And Mr. Guman is right there, number 44. So that was kind of cool. I have him sign that. And he sent me a note. So thank you for your letter and kind words. It's my pleasure to sign your card. My best to you and your family, Mike Guman. That was kind of cool. All right, now we're going to delve into something that I started just kind of remembering my dad and brother. We played a lot of golf together, and a couple weeks I've been gone 2 years, so I started writing opening packs for the Pro Set Golf 1991. So I have a few of those here. Got Buddy Gardner. It looks like got smeared there. And then I got a sticky note on the back of this one because he sent me a nice note, and that's kind of personal, so I'm gonna hang on to that one. But D.A. Weibring, or Weibring, not sure how to pronounce his last name, but that's kind of cool. And then we've got Robert Wren. And these are all from the 91 Pro Set. I'm actually missing one card for a full set. I can't believe it. We got Jerry Haas. One of the cooler autographs I've seen in a couple years. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, so. And then this one, I took a shot at this. Really can't believe it came back, so it's really cool that it came back. But, and I should have saved this for, it would have been a great segue. But this is Treat Williams. Right now he's doing I don't know, we haven't seen him in Blue Bloods for a while, but he did cameos in Blue Bloods, but he's been all over TV and film. And I love The Phantom. The movie is kind of, I don't know, I like it. It's really cool. I don't really care for Billy Zane as much, from what I hear, especially after going to the comic book show this past weekend. You know how some people are really kind of stuck on themselves. I've heard that Billy Zane really is, but it's really cool. I don't know if these are real or not. I don't see a lot of Treat Williams autographs out there, but you know what? I'll hang on to them. And if they're not real, somebody will let me know. And then about a year and a half ago, I started following a young racer out of Las Vegas. And her name is Heather the Heat Hadley. And obviously, the Heat is her nickname. And I sent her 3 photos. And she signed. I'll show them like this. So they're 4x6s. She signed those. This one with the trophy, she decided to sign the back of it to Brett. Sign it with their car number on the front. So I thought that was pretty cool. So, and she is, I think, 19. And she is doing pretty well. She travels all over. Like I said, she lives in Las Vegas, but these were returned from North Carolina. So, obviously she was at one of her races. And so that was kind of cool to get those back. Treat Williams was 38 days and Heather Hadley was 84 days. All right, we'll get into my weekend in Chicago. This was actually taken in Chicago 5 years ago. This is Ming Wen from Comic Book Men, series and TV show started by Kevin Smith and guys he hung out with. And he was charging for his autograph, but when he saw this picture, he didn't charge me anything. And he talked to us for a real long time, not only about, you know, the comic book show, but the collections. And my buddy had bought some Batmobiles, so he was looking through those. He thought those were really cool. Really nice guy, really nice. And he was really kind of surprised that I would bring a picture with me from that long ago. So yeah, that was kind of cool to get that signed. All right, now we're going to delve into the comic book artists that you may or may not know. So I try and get, depending on what they charge. And I'm not going to go over what each guy charged, because then you know what I spent and I could get in trouble. So, but I'll let you know when I got a free one, that's for sure. But this is Brian Azzarello. He did charge, but and since he, you know, charged, not always will I get my name on stuff, but I like Batman. They're not going to be going anywhere. So he signed the first issue of Europa. I did have all 4 of them with me. You see, this is one of 4. But again, I could have spent way too much money getting everything signed. So he did charge. The next one, I actually, you're going to think this is kind of weird, but Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. And when I first heard about this series, I'm like, nah, it's stupid. You know, it's not going to be any good. But it was a really good read. And the recommendation came from the guy who helped create it, Jim Lee. So I watched that. And this was signed back in 2017 by Tony again in St. Louis. But this time, Jill Thompson was in Chicago. So I had her follow suit. And she signed it. She actually did the cover. And that's the only one in this series where she did the cover. Well, no, that's the only one she's in this series. So, and then this next one. So for those of you who grew up in the 70s, Johnny Quest was a cartoon, and obviously you guys, probably most people know that. But I watched it religiously with my brother and my grandfather. It was the only cartoon that he would watch. He thought it was really cool. So So this is signed by Gene Ha, and that there wasn't anybody in his line. It did cost for his autograph, but he drew a short portrait of Johnny Quest on the wing of the plane, and then he signs all of his work like that, basically Ha. So I thought that was kind of cool that he gave me a quick sketch for free, because a lot of these guys charge quite a bit. And then if you look down here, you can see that he's on the cover too. So that was kind of cool. All right, now the rest of them, I did a kind of a little bit of a test to see if you could see them through. But this is going to be obviously John Carter, and this is done by Scotty Young. He did all 5 covers, and Mr. Young was free. You got, no, wait a minute, I got to think here for a second. I think he was 3 free and then $5 after all that. So obviously you're gonna know I spent at least $10 because I got all 5 of these signed. So I guess I didn't hide that too well. But again, he was a cool guy, really cool. Some of these guys I've never seen before, so you know, just to see what they look like, you know, it's kind of interesting because it's a neat style of artistic in what he does. So yeah, and there's number 5. So that was kind of cool. And I didn't really count the comic books, or I'll have to give you guys a total later on as far as what I got. But I guess that's let's see, 5, that's 8 so far. So here's number 9 and 10. And this, I'm not going to take these out. But if any of you know anything about comic books in the 80s, this series that I'm showing you now was one of the biggest ones, because Spider-Man got his costume changed in issue number 8. So over the years, I've gotten these signed by different guys. But who I went for this month was John Beatty, and he did charge. And I only got 2 signed because of what he charged. But when I first met him back in Indianapolis in 2015, he was only $2 per issue. And he's not $2 per issue. Now that signature there is by Jim Shooter. He was the editor at Marvel in the 80s. And in this one here, we've got Jim Shooter and Bob Layton. And then there's John Beatty. And so a lot of these guys from the 80s are not, are hanging in there, but some of them are starting to fade away. This next comic is by Jenny Friesen. She is the artist.